she resembled the Holy Prophet of Islam in her way of walking. And when she reached the masjid, she started the sermon in the way that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to start the sermons, which was with the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the praise of the Holy Prophet of Islam. And then the first thing she says after this introduction with the praise of Allah and the praise of the Holy Prophet of Islam, the first thing that she talks about is the importance of the Holy Quran. And this is particularly significant, inshallah, as we'll see further on in the sermon. This is particularly important because this sermon is being delivered only a few days after the Holy Prophet of Islam leaves this world. And a few days before the Holy Prophet of Islam had left this world, there had been a commotion in the presence of the Holy Prophet of Islam. And one person had said in that commotion, Asbuna Kitabullah, the book of Allah, the Quran, is sufficient for us. So Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha also begins the sermon by talking about the importance of the Quran. She says that if you think the book of Allah is enough for you, then you should know what the book of Allah is about. What is the importance and the significance of this book? This is what she begins the sermon. Then she begins to recount and remind people regarding all the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the religion of Islam. And from here she begins. فَجَعَلَ اللَّهُ إِيمَانًا تَطْهِيرًا لَكُم مِّنَ الشِّرْكِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained and made Iman, belief, as a way to purify you, تَطْهِيرًا لَكُم مِّنَ الشِّرْكِ, from polytheism. So the first question, therefore, is before we even go into understanding ahkam and the reasoning behind the ahkam, is what is Iman? How do we recognize what is Iman, what is belief? Why? Because the Holy Quran tells us, for example, that the Arab, the people from the desert, used to come to the Holy Prophet and say that we have believed, we have Iman. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals a verse in Surah Al-Hujurat, and He says to them, He says, Ya Rasulullah, tell them that they have not believed, they do not have Iman. But say, بَلْ قُولُوا أَسْلَمْنَا, you have just accepted the testament, you have submitted to the fundamentals of the faith, and Iman has not yet entered into your heart. So this is the first thing, that there's a difference between submitting to the fundamentals of the faith, which is the Zahiri Islam, the apparent Islam of somebody, whoever accepts that there's no God except for Allah and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His messenger, is from the Zahiri aspect, from the apparent aspect, that person is a Muslim. And then all the ahkam and all the rules regarding Muslim would apply to that human being. But as for Iman is a stage beyond that. And so, Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha saying, beginning this discussion regarding the reasoning of ahkam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made Iman as a way to purify you, تَطْهِيرًا لَكُم مِّنَ الشِّرْكِ, to purify you from shirk. Now this word tatheer is important because, of course, we have ayatul tatheer in the Holy Quran as well. And in ayatul tatheer, and this formation of the word tatheer is not just a ordinary purification, but rather it is a thorough purification, a purification which is deserving of the word purity. That by Iman entering your heart, you have not only removed all the shirk, but you've also purified your whole self, your whole nafs. And that this purification is a shart and a condition for Iman to enter. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says regarding the duties of the Holy Prophet of Islam, In Surah Al-Jum'ah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, هُوَ الَّذِي بَعَثَ فِي الْأُمِّيِّينَ رَسُولًا مِّنْهُمْ يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ. That his role and his duty is to tell you about, do the tilawat of the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ, and then purify the souls before then teaching them about the book and wisdom. That if the soul is not pure, then no teaching of book and wisdom will affect anybody. Will affect that person because the soul is not pure. So this is the first thing, that Iman, when it enters, not only does it remove the shirk, but it also purifies the soul of the individual. But is it then sufficient for a person to say that, yes, I have accepted that Iman has entered in my heart, now I'm safe, now nothing's going to happen to me? No. When we talk about shirk, of course, Zahra salamullah alayha at that moment in time is talking about the shirk of those people who used to worship idols, and after leaving their worship of idols and accepting the religion of Islam, they became purified. But is it just the physical idols which denote shirk, or is there something else, or is there a deeper meaning regarding shirk as well? Of course there is. Because it's mentioned in the riwayat, for example, that when a person does an action without ikhlas, person does an action for somebody else, I do this action to show off to somebody else, then the Ma'sumin alayhi salatu salam say that this too is a form of shirk. Why? Because this action is not only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this action has somebody's sharik in it, that I decided to impress somebody else. I'm praying and somebody walks into the room, all of a sudden my qira'ah improves because I want this person to hear that my qira'ah is good. And by doing so, I already made that person a sharik into my prayer. Or that I was doing a mustahab fast and nobody knew about it, and then I said, by the way, I'm fasting as well. Now this fast no longer is solely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it's also to impress that person or any other good deed that I did, as so long as my niyyah and intention was only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that act was an act of reward. And the moment that act became an act where I was trying to impress somebody else, it became an act of shirk. But to see the manifestation of Iman and shirk in its entirety, how do we summarize this whole situation? Holy Prophet of Islam gives us a very easy way to understand it. On the day of the battle of Ahzab, when Holy Prophet of Islam was challenged by Amr ibn Abdud, who had jumped over the trench and come over to the side of the Muslims, and he said, who is it amongst you who will come and fight me, and what I'm giving you is a win-win situation. If you fight me and you are killed, you'll go to paradise. And if you kill me, then you'll also go to paradise for having defeated the enemy of Islam. So I'm giving you a win-win situation. Either way, you'll go to paradise. Still nobody goes. Until Amir al-Mu'minin is given permission by Holy Prophet of Islam. Yes, Ya Ali, you can go, but he doesn't let him go just like that. He says something as a testament to his going, which helps us to understand this meaning of Iman and Shirk. He says, Baraz al-Imanu kulluhu ila shirk kullih. Today, on this day, I've sent out the whole of Iman in its whole completion, its whole embodiment against shirk in its embodiment. So now, the way to understand Iman and shirk is through the personality of Imam Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam, that the way that he leads you towards his Iman and his enmity and his opposition will lead you towards shirk. And then the first out of the acts of worship, which of course are the most important in the acts of worship, that Zahra salamullah alayha follows the order of the Quran. She says, وَجَعَلَ الصَّلَاةَ tanzihan anil kibr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained salat, prayer, as a way to remove the pride from your mind, from your existence, from your wujud. So what's the connection between salat and pride? What is the connection between this? How is it that salat removes the pride from an individual? And why is it then that we see people who pray but they still have this vice of pride within? So first of all, let's come to the importance of salat. These things are well known, but to remind ourselves of this importance. That the Holy Prophet of Islam, when he's about to leave this world, the final wasiyah, the final testament that he leaves for Amirul Mu'minin salatu salam, somebody came to the Imam and they said, Ya Amir al-Mu'min, what is the final word that the Holy Prophet of Islam spoke? What was the last thing that the Holy Prophet of Islam said before he passed away? And Imam Amir al-Mu'min replied, he said, Salat. The final thing, the last thing that the Holy Prophet of Islam said was regarding the talqeen of Salat. Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam says in his final testament that when Abu Basir comes to visit after the Imam had passed away, Hamida says to him that when the Imam was in his final moments, he called everybody and he said to them that لا تنال الشفاعة من يستخف بالصلاة. Our shafa'at will not reach those people who consider prayer to be an unimportant thing, who consider prayer to be a light thing, something that they don't give importance to. Notice he doesn't say that our intercession will not reach those who don't pray. There's no question that those people will not get inherited, the shafa'at of Aimman salam who don't pray. He says even those people who don't give importance to salat will not get our shafa'at. But regarding salat and how does it related to kibr, or the removal of kibr, or the way to erase kibr? Of course, because the philosophy behind the salat was to remove the kibr, and that was demonstrated in that first story that we read in the Holy Quran regarding the sajda to Adam. Why? Because we know from the rawayat that Iblis had been doing sajda for 6,000 or 60,000 or however many thousands of years it may have been. But over one sajda, right? Over one sajda, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removed him from his mercy. No, it wasn't over one sajda. The ayat is telling us, Aba wastakbara wa kana min al-kafirin. It wasn't over one sajda, it was over disobedience to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it was over the pride that Iblis had over Adam. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that number one, anybody who disobeys any command of mine, even one command, even after accepting my command for thousands of years, one command can be sufficient to remove that person from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But secondly, that all of those acts of worship did not do anything for him, because even after that many years of worship, he stood and said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I will not bow down to him because I am better than him. Even though his qiyas was wrong, but the fact that he said that I am better than him was not liked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How dare you decide who is better than who? This is the job of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to decide who is better than who, has superiority over somebody else. Now regarding the acceptance of salat, because number one is to offer the salat. This is an obligation for a person to offer the salat. But how is it? How do we know whether that salat that I'm offering, that I've offered, is it accepted as well or not? So first of all, this is the clue in this philosophy of this action of salat. That if this salat is leading me to become more humble, if this salat is removing the pride from my mind, then it means that it's going towards acceptance. If this salat is helping me to become more humble in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in front of other people, then that means that salat is an accepted action. But let's come to the Aimma alayhi salatu salam, and when they were asked this question, how did they reply? Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu salam was asked on one occasion that a person came to the Imam and he said, Ya Ibn Rasulullah, we pray, but how do we know that our prayer, our salat has been accepted as well? So Imam alayhi salatu wasalam said that notice your behavior before the salat and after the salat. Look at the way that you behave before the salat and after the salat. If your behavior, if the way that you behave has changed for the better after the salah, then you know that your salah has been accepted. If your behavior, if the way that you act has changed positively as a result of the salah, then that means your salah is accepted. Somebody came to our fourth holy Imam, Imam Sajjad alayhi salatu, and asked him. And he said this same question regarding the acceptance of salat. What are the conditions of the acceptance of salat? And Imam alayhi salatu salam says that, remember that the conditions of the acceptance of salat is to accept our wilayah, to accept our guardianship, to accept the fact that we are the leaders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to disassociate with our enemies, with those people who showed enmity and hurt towards us. Now, this is with regards to what the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, what Zahra salamullah alayha said regarding Iman and regarding Salat. And then the third thing that she mentioned, which again is in the order of the Quran, is Zakat. And this is very interesting because every single place in the Holy Quran, wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes an ordainment for Salah, it is always attached with an ordainment for Zakat. Wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders a person, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. Wherever there's a commandment, establish the prayer, following straight after it is the commandment to offer the Zakat. What is the importance of, or what is the significance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala attaching the importance of Salat with the importance of Zakat? First of all is this, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to emphasize that there are two kinds of rights over the people. The first right that every individual has is the right towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Salat is the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second right that each and every person has is over his fellow human beings. And that is the right of Zakat. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that the importance of the right that I have over you and the rights that other people have over you is equal to one another. There is no acceptance of the rights that I have over you if you do not fulfill the rights that other people also have over you. Now here with regards to Zakat, is not just referring to the Zakat that we refer to in the fiqh terminology that is obligatory over 9 things, but rather here Zakat refers to all the acts of worship which are monetary within the religion of Islam, whether it's khums or it's sadaqah or it's helping other people in any way. All of these acts of worship are encompassed within Zakat. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ, it refers to all of these acts of worship. What is the benefit of this in this? This is very unique that in this act of worship, Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha says that there are two benefits associated with this act. with giving zakat. One benefit is in this dunya, one benefit is in this dunya, and the other one is in the akhirah. What is the benefit in this dunya? The benefit in this dunya is that it increases the risk, it increases the sustenance. And the benefit for the akhirah is that it purifies the soul. This is why it's called zakat, because zakat means, zakat is not related to money. Zakat means purification. It is purifying oneself by helping other people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that if you help other people, when you help other people, you are not only helping them, you are helping yourself by purifying yourself as a result of helping others. You purify yourself as a result of helping other people. This is the importance of zakat. And this is throughout the life of A'immah alayhimu salatu salam. We see this consistent theme that the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the rights of the people are fulfilled equally and within the equal amount of significance. That when it comes to praying, then yes, A'immah alayhimu salatu salam spend their nights in prayer. But when it comes to helping other people, then those same people who are seen on the musalla the whole time are also seen carrying sacks of food, helping the other people. Saying that, remember that just as important is it to build that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In order to build that relationship with Allah, a person has to build their relationship by helping other people as well. By helping other people as well. This is what Fatima salamullah alayha is defending and mentioning in her sermon, which is regarding fadak. But this is important, it's significant for us to think about this point. That she starts the sermon with a cry that, or an that means that she had to come into this sermon, that she had to come into this court, she had to come into visiting the people to ask for her rights. But even in that situation, she has come to the court in order to demand her rights. But even in that situation, she's delivering a sermon which is helping other people. She's teaching us that if you're a follower of Alulbayt, even when it comes to demanding my rights, I've come here to deliver a sermon which is helping other people, which is telling other people what is it about the religion of Islam, what is it in the religion of Islam which is going to help you and benefit you. And she doesn't in that whole sermon refer to anything. She doesn't complain to the people regarding anything that's happened to her, because of course this sermon is delivered after the events that take place after the Holy Prophet Islam. But she doesn't mention anything about that within the sermon. She says, no, this sermon is to help other people and demand my rights. I'm not going to complain to anybody apart from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about what happened to me after the Holy Prophet Islam. And what happened to her after the Holy Prophet Islam? I always mention this as a very important, significant thing to think about. That any time a significant person, a well-known personality, whether it's a president or a prime minister or a king or some other famous person dies, then there is a mourning period for that person. Especially if that person is a government official, then there's a government sanctioned mourning period for that person, that this person has died, and for 3 days or 5 days or 7 days there's going to be mourning. The flag will be flown at half-mast as a sign of mourning for this person. But is it not a tragedy in the history of Islam that there was no mourning for the Holy Prophet of Islam? Not even 1 day, not even 1 hour of mourning for the Holy Prophet of Islam. As soon as the Holy Prophet of Islam left this world, there was everything, but there was no mourning for the Holy Prophet. Nobody had time to mourn for the Holy Prophet. Everybody was more worried about what would happen to them after the Holy Prophet of Islam and how they would be the first ones to secure the power after the Holy Prophet. And in doing so, they even abandoned the funeral of the Holy Prophet of Islam. 100,000 people were Muslims at the time the Holy Prophet of Islam passed away, and yet only a handful of people at the funeral of the Holy Prophet. But even that is not the greatest tragedy. What is even greater beyond that is that, okay, if you miss the Holy Prophet of Islam's funeral, then the least you could have done is come to the daughter of the Holy Prophet of Islam and offer her condolences. The least you could have done is that you come to the house of the Holy Prophet of Islam and say that we're very sorry to hear that the Holy Prophet of Islam passed away, and this is a great loss for all of us, and this is the way of humanity, irrespective of what religion you follow. Irrespective of what religion you follow, this is the way of humanity. That if somebody has a bereavement in their family, you go to them and you say, I'm very sorry to hear that the person passed away, let alone it be the Holy Prophet of Islam, upon whom everybody owes a favor. This iman would never have come if it had not been for the Holy Prophet of Islam. This purification of your soul would never have happened if it hadn't been for the Holy Prophet of Islam. Did he not even deserve that much for people to come and offer condolences? But instead of offering condolences, what did they do? Instead of offering condolences, what did they do? They came to the house of the Holy Prophet of Islam and they threatened to burn down the house. They threatened to burn down the house. It's such a significant event that Sulaym ibn Qais, who narrates this, says that I was not in Medina at the time when the Holy Prophet passed away. When I came back, I inquired from Salman. I said to him, Salman, is it true that people came to the house of the daughter of the Prophet and threatened to burn it down? And Salman says, yes, Sulaym, it is true. I was there when the people came to the house of the daughter of the Prophet and they threatened to burn it down. A gang of people sent by the government came and they said, bring Ali out of the house, and if you don't bring him out, then we will enter the house forcefully and take him out. Allahu Akbar. Bring Ali out, and if you don't bring him out, we will take it forcefully, the allegiance. Fatima salamullah alayhi says, Ali will not come out. Ali would not come out. They said, we will burn this house down in order to bring Ali out. Fatima says, this is the house of the daughter of the Holy Prophet. This is the house where the Prophet, after the revelation of ayat that he used to come and say salam every single day for 6 months continuously, what did they reply? They said, wa'in, even if that is the case. Wa'in, even if that is the case, we will still burn it down. Even if they had just threatened to burn it down, this would have been the climax of the Messiah. But it's not, because they did burn it down. They didn't just threaten to burn it down, they brought the wood and they set fire to the door outside the house of the daughter of the Prophet. As the door began to burn, Fatima came between the door and the wall in order to protect her hijab. Fatima came between the door and the wall in order to protect her hijab. When she came between the door and the wall was pushed onto her. When the door was pushed onto her, Mohsin, who was in her womb, was made shaheed as a result of the miscarriage, and the rib was broken. And the rib was broken. I want you to feel this just for a moment. What is the purpose of ribs in our body? As a result of the ribs, if the ribs are functioning, we're able to breathe. Fatima survived for 90 days after this event. How did she breathe for 90 days? In order to protect herself, she came between the door and the wall. The nail went into the rib and crushed her rib. Some objectioners object, why didn't Ali come and answer the door? I replied to them that Fatima was not defending her husband, she was defending the Imam of the time, and this is an obligation on every believer to defend the Imam of the time. Fatima salamullah alayha. This is the end of the Majalis. Fatima salamullah alayha, her rib was crushed. It was crushed in such a way that when Ali saw it while giving the ghusl, he screamed. Someone like Amirul Mu'mineen screamed over seeing the broken rib of Fatima. But I only say, oh my master Amirul Mu'mineen, when you saw the broken rib of Fatima, you screamed. If you had been there on the day of Ashura, when your son Hussein was ordered by those 10 horse riders to crush his body into pieces, if you had seen the crushing of the body of Hussein, what would have been your state? ألا ولعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين إنا لله وإنا